Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wiseburn Unified School District Board meeting for Thursday, August 20th, 2026. We're going to go ahead and get started with the roll call. Wendy, would you please take the roll?
Dr. Bowman,
Present.
Ms. Cappy. Present. Ms. Legaspi. Present. Mr. Martinez.
Present.
Mr. Benlow.
Present. Thank you, Wendy. Next, we're on item 3.2, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Marilu, would you please do us the honor?
Right hand over your heart. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Marilu. Just prior to the open, we did have a closed session and the board has nothing to report as no actions were taken in our closed session. We are on item 4.1, which is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Section 6 is item 6.1 is special presentation regarding Wiseburn Unified School District Measure EE on program update. Believe it or not, it's number 22.
Public comments.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. I wrote that in the wrong section. Great. Public comments on items that are not on the agenda. I have 3 cards here. Wendy, do we have any other ones online? Okay, great. Thank you, Wendy. All right. In terms of public comments, I would just remind the public that each speaker is allowed 3 minutes and we have allocated 20 minutes for public comment. Since we only have 3 cards, each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the body of the board. Our first speaker is Grace Bader, and the comment is general public comment, non-agenda items. Grace?
Good evening, Wiseburn community, board members, teachers, families, and neighbors. My name is Grace Bader, and I have been a proud Wiseburn resident for over 18 years now. I am a wife, a mother, and a nurse. And as a nurse, my entire career has been about protecting people, advocating for them, listening to them, and helping them heal. Our children here in Wiseburn deserve that same care. Recently, a survey that was conducted in Wiseburn schools revealed something we can't ignore. Approximately 500 students said that they're experiencing racial bullying in our Wiseburn schools. 500 children telling us that they are hurting. We can't hide that. We can't bury it. And we can't pretend it isn't happening. Bullying, especially racial bullying, is a mental health issue, a safety issue, and a community issue. And as a nurse, I know that healing only happens when we bring problems out into the open, not by keeping them in secrecy, not by relying on law firms like Dennis Walliver Kelly to manage or minimize them. We need transparency and honesty, and we need to help everyone involved, those who are bullied and those who bully, because both sides need support and intervention. I've been doing my homework, and I've been going out into our community and talking with my neighbors, Wiseburn residents, and they have told me clearly that they want connection and open communication from their school board members. They want leaders who show up, listen, and speak truthfully. They have told me that it's time for change. And so that is why tonight I'm announcing my candidacy for the Wiseburn Unified School District Board of Trustees. If elected, I will make mental health and anti-bullying efforts a top priority. That means stronger counseling support, better reporting systems, restorative practices, cultural awareness programs, and real and open conversations with families and students. We stop bullying by facing it, talking about it, and working together. It's time to put our students first, above our egos, above corporate profit, above everything. Students first. So let's talk more. Let's continue to do our homework Together, we can build a district where every child feels safe, supported, valued, and seen, and a community where every voice is heard. Let's talk more. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jeannie Ogar, a general public comment, non-agenda item.
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Agar. I'm a Wiseburn resident of over 10 years, a mom, and an environmental scientist. Like most families here, I love our Wiseburn schools. Our community is incredible, and our educators work tirelessly every single day. But right now, our schools are facing a $900,000 deficit, and we've already seen cuts in classroom supply budgets and critical special education resources. Our teachers and students do amazing work, but they deserve full resources, not compromises. As a mom, especially after my son battled cancer for 3 years, I know exactly what it means to fight for a child. I showed up for him every single day throughout that battle until he passed away in October. Now I am here to show up for all of our kids and help serve as their voice. As an environmental scientist, my career is all about analyzing data and identifying risks. Looking at the data here, it's clear we have a priority problem. 2 of our board members, Roger Banuelos and Nelson Martinez, are executives at the same school construction management firm. Mr. Martinez reports directly to Mr. Banuelos. They are using our public school system to fuel their private company's growth, awarding school construction contracts right here in Wiseburn to their very own business partners, and even advertising our public schools on their corporate website to promote their firm. Yet while their company prospers from these relationships, our school district is navigating a massive deficit. I have been standing here speaking out at every single board meeting since the end of May to demand transparency on these issues. In response, this board quietly voted back in June to spend $100,000 of our education budget on the law firm Dennis Walliver Kelly. This firm specializes in defending public school boards against community scrutiny. That means instead of addressing community's concerns, this board used taxpayer dollars meant for our kids to buy a legal shield for their own corporate interests. Our community faces unique environmental stressors, from data centers to cement plants. Every parent, teacher, and neighbor here is a stakeholder in our children's future. Our budget belongs in our classrooms, analyzing health risks and protecting our kids' lungs, not shielding corporate interests. Because they chose to hire outside lawyers instead of addressing these conflicts, I was forced to take action and file a lawsuit to bring these decisions into the open, ensure absolute and financial accountability. I am also running for the Wiseburn School Board. Great schools require independent, fact-based leadership. I want to build on what makes Wiseburn wonderful by ensuring our taxpayer dollars go directly to the health, safety, and classroom education of our students first. Thank you.
Our last speaker is, we have a third. Our next speaker is regarding Wiseburn Aviation softball field usage. The name of the speaker is not listed. So, well,
Sorry,
please
board
state your,
members.
please
Yes,
state your
Marissa
name.
Reeby. Yes,
Okay.
Marissa Reeby for Wiseburn Aviation Girls Softball. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Wendy.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, board members, for this opportunity. Wiseburn Community District. My name is Marissa Reeby, and I'm here from Wiseburn Aviation Girls Softball. Our small league started 3 years ago with just 3 teams, and now we've grown to 6. Excitingly, we have continued to grow. Unfortunately, fortunately, we have maintained a joint relationship with Wiseburn School District to keep up the Wiseburn Middle School softball field. And that agreement has been great. It's kept our prices low and caused us to increase our numbers here locally within Wiseburn. It is a lot of work. We are an all volunteer organization, and we maintain the field. We buy the dirt, the equipment shed, all the equipment inside. We maintain all the field equipment, the benches, as well as the infield grass during games and high season tempos. And it meets all USA softball regulations for the pitching mounds. However, we're having an issue now where we are overlapping with the AYSO growth and our growth here locally. Currently, for this fall season, there has been an overlap in usage on Facilitron, where AYSO has also reserved the softball field, and we have reserved the softball field all during the week for practices and on the weekends. And now both organizations are at a standstill trying to figure out how we can utilize the field. I've reached out to AYSO. I would love to work with them and collaborate. Unfortunately, they are unable to collaborate with me in time in order to meet my season timeline, as we start about 3 weeks before they do. So asking the district for help on deconflicting that and improving our Facilitron system and understanding the field and how it conflicts with each other. So would like to ask for help to collaborate as well as continue to grow the Weisburn Aviation Softball League. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now I think we're on section 6.1. Special presentation number 2, Weisburn Unified School District Measure EE Bond Program Update. Noemi?
Right, evening board members, members of the audience. This is actually bond program update number 23. Now we're excited. We have a lot of projects updates to share with you, a lot of progress that happened over the last couple of months. I'm going to start quickly with Del Air Soccer Field Replacement Project. The project started in June, right after school broke for summer. We are actually complete with this project. We are scheduled to do a punch walk next Tuesday. This are some of the photos that the next few slides are some of the original photos that you just as a refresher. As you can see in this particular photo, the netting was not in place at the time. Here's another picture of the original field. And this is during construction, the removal of the turf. And they would remove it in sections just for hauling purposes, for ease of hauling purposes. And here you can see the netting, the post and the netting in the background. The picture to the left is the site being prepped, the base installed. The picture to the right, I actually like this picture a lot because you can see the entire process. To the very right is the base, then you can see the filter fabric that is installed, then the shock pad, and then the upper layer, the final layer, which is the turf. This is what the field looks like now. Huge improvement. You can get a better sense of the netting on both sides. The striping is in place. Here's a picture from the Del Air TK roof. You can see the Del Air logo in place as well. It's beautiful. It's very nice. They're doing some final cleanup the next couple of days. Like I said, we're essentially complete. Punch walk is scheduled for Tuesday, and then they'll have 30 days to complete punch walk, but there's minimal items. Staff the NAZ team has been walking it as they find stuff, they identify stuff, they're bringing it to their attention to minimize punch items at the end. Moving on to the next project, Del Air TK Playground Project also started in June. We are also substantially complete. We're going to be punching this project as well on Tuesday. Here's the rendering of the proposed equipment. Some refresher pictures of the before. Remember, a tiny little play equipment, great big turf area. Come on, here's some pictures of during, again, removal of the turf, the base. You can see the upper right-hand picture is removal of the foundations from the previous equipment. The picture in the lower right, you can see the new equipment being installed, the shade structure posts being erected.
No, I mean, I just want to
Yes.
make one
Sure.
point clarification that if
Sorry.
you went
Let me
back
go
to
back.
that old, just to the old, next one back, I think.
Coming, sorry, it just takes forever.
So just if you recall, this was not, this was a CDC, a Child Development Center, old playground. This was part of our TK expansion. So we did have to retrofit the room. So we chose to do that last summer. Unfortunately, the students had to play on kind of a less than ideal playground. We wanted to make it more similar to that.
Holly Glen.
Holly Glen. We're also going to be bringing to this board we want to do some analysis on extending this classroom space so that we can make 3 rooms. I know it's in the thing. To extend it to 3 full classrooms, because right now it fits about 2 and some change, so you only put 2 classes in there. Based on a site walk, we think there's some possibility to do that, so we'll also be looking at that. So just continuing to expand for TK at our 2 schools there.
Thank you. Here's a great progress picture to the left, the equipment fully in place, the shade structure, including the shade fabric in place as well. You can see the rebar and the forming preparation for the concrete being poured for the little trike area that we created, a more safe environment for them. Before they had a small concrete area where they were just crashing into each other. You can see the picture to the right, the concrete has been poured. And this is as of today. Concrete in place, turf installed, and the equipment, much larger equipment in place as well.
White path is not concrete, it's turf, right?
No, it's concrete.
The
The
circular-
trike is
Okay,
it's
okay.
concrete. It looks a little different in color because obviously it's new concrete in comparison to the existing, as you can see there. But eventually with the sun, it'll all blend in.
Is the internal, like, I forget the name of the cushion material?
It's a rubber play
Is it?
surface.
Yeah.
That brownish,
I didn't know the color.
right. It's a blend of 3 colors, actually. It's a light brown, a green, and a little bit of black that create that very natural
You've shown us.
rubberized surface, correct, at the last board meeting. Were you gonna ask something, Michelle? Oh, is that, okay. Here's just a different angle. I don't know if you can see those small little signs, but they're just play signs. It has a speed limit for the kids with the strikes.
Out of curiosity, what is it?
What is it?
It says 5 miles per hour. They do go 55. They're fast. I can't wait to see them play in this playground. Okay, moving on to the next project, Del Air Flooring and Ceiling Refresh Project. We were substantially completed with this project on August 14th. We have been working on the punch list. We are near completion with the punch list. We expect to be done by no later than Monday of next week. The majority should be done by tomorrow. And well ahead of the final completion date of September 13th.
I know we forget,
Yes.
But you've told this, and I keep forgetting. Substantial completion means we can actually start using.
Occupy, correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's turnover to the district, and that's why we like to punch as we go. Typically, you wait till it's almost near substantial completion to punch. As for especially with the flooring and ceiling tile, because there's so many classrooms and spaces and offices, corridors. As we're identifying, as we're walking every time and the room is done, we're already punching. Our team is out there taping it. And we still conducted a punch walk last week, and they have been working the last week on fixing those items. So here are some of the pre-construction pictures. They were so fast to mobilize that they had already replaced the ceiling tiles. So I wasn't even able to capture the original ceiling tiles, but here you can see they were replaced, but it shows the original carpet in the space. Come on. Here you can see the carpet, the walk-off mat at the entrance of every room, as well as the wood area, the vinyl plank flooring. This is a completed classroom, ceilings, flooring, all in place, furniture back in place. It just looks very different, very bright. That's what we noticed. A lot of these spaces almost look like we had painted the interior. It was very bright walking these spaces. Here's another angle from a different classroom. As you can see, again, very bright. Here's a before and an after picture of the main entrance to the office, to the lobby. You can see the old carpet, beautiful stain on it. And now it's a much brighter space with the school logo right as you walk in for Pride. NPR,
pre-construction pictures. Again, look very dark in there for some reason. The picture to the right, I had shown it at the last board meeting, but I figured it'd be worth showing. We had damage from a water leak from the planter on the exterior wall that has since all been repaired. This is what the NPR looks like now. So we replaced obviously all of the flooring. We addressed the leak on that wall to the back, replaced all the tack, and then painted the rest of the tack board and the NPR to match. And as you can see, there's no color difference. It looks identical. So when you walk in there, it looks like all of the tack is brand new. So it looks very, and it looks so spacious now.
No, I mean,
Mhm.
tack boards were able to retain their acoustic value even though.
Correct.
They did?
Mhm.
Oh,
They have acoustical paint.
excellent.
Mhm.
Thank you.
This is the
There.
This is the exterior wall that I told you where we identified the leak, removed the irrigation, capped the irrigation, removed the original plants that were there, and we filled it back with synthetic turf to prevent that problem for.
See how the wall is discolored at the bottom there?
It's just from the calcium buildup from the irrigation hitting the block wall for years. But they did power wash and remove as much as they could. Here's another pre-construction picture of the corridors. You can see the original carpets, different color carpets by grade level corridor. And this is what the corridors look now. Again, it's very open, very bright. Even the tack wall, we didn't touch the tack board here, and yet it just looks so much brighter. We didn't touch the lighting, and yet it looks so much brighter. The ceiling tiles were also replaced. And spacious. Moving on to Del Air door access controls, you can see this is the type of hardware that's going in both this is a picture of the front gate and then a different back gate. This project was supposed to be completed by the start of school with all teachers receiving their access card to be able to access their door. Fortunately, we had an issue with the hardware. The hardware that was originally specified and used at the previous site no longer is applicable in this particular, or is no longer available. So we're waiting for the equipment to arrive. Teachers will have to use their keys like they did before to access their classrooms. So we'll start off the year with keys, and the contractor will work after hours to replace. And then eventually, once we have a break, we'll do the programming and provide the access cards. Not ideal, but at least we have a plan in place to start the school year with minimal disruption.
So the timeline before they can start using it, estimated.
The problem is because we have to work after hours, and with the time change, we're going to be limited to maybe 4 hours. I'm assuming it's going to take about 2 months to complete the campus because we won't have a whole lot of time after school, and we're approaching time change. And well, that's definitely the plan. Hopefully before that, we're track. Hopefully by Thanksgiving break, we were able to do that. The next project that we were working on at Del Air was the lunch shelter painting project. As you may recall, we had a lot of rust, and then the actual posts were just disintegrating, or just the bottom of them just through the years and the rust were right. So this project has been a lot of work for the contractors, a lot more than they originally expected. There's a lot of rust. It took, they thought they would be able to complete it in a week. It'll take 2 weeks to complete this work. It'll be done by next Tuesday. That's not a problem. It'll be done before the start of school. But it took a long time to try to properly prep for painting. So it's removing all of the rust, cleaning up, and then the Bondo work to fix the posts. That took several steps to get us to where it's nice and flush for painting. As you can see here, the picture to the right, this is, it's ready for primer.
Once the primer's on, will we again get the cushions?
No, we weren't planning because none of the other sites have that. It's not an area where they play nearby, they just go and eat, so it's safe. Typically, we put the padding if it's an area where they're running or near, that they might not be looking and then accidentally hit the post. Certainly something to consider if the district feels it's necessary just to protect the post from maybe, I don't know what cost that to begin with. I don't know if it was carts driving by, with maintenance. I really don't know, but actually that's a great point and we might consider that. You can see the first coat of primer going in. You could see the second picture to the right. They're starting to do the first coat of paint. So our standard is 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of color coat paint. And because we are near the ocean, in the morning, there's a lot of moisture in the air. It's very difficult to paint. So they generally cannot start painting until afternoon. So it just extends the process because they have to do the primer first, then leave for the day, then come back the next day, do the first coat of paint, and then they'll be back on Tuesday to do the final coat and clean up. And they'll be done. But it's looking very good. Moving on to the project that Blake was mentioning, the Del Air TK expansion project. This is a project that we are recommending an architect tonight, and it is agendized later on in the agenda for your consideration. Just a little bit of background as to how we select an architect, because I know it's been a long time since I brought up a new project. As you know, there's a public process for every single type of procurement, whether it's construction, professional services, inspector, lab of record. There's a process that has to be followed to select a firm. For this particular architectural pool, we issued a public request for qualifications. We put it out for public knowledge in April of 2023. At the time, we had 8 firms that responded. From those 8 firms, our team reviewed to make sure that they met the minimum qualifications listed on the request for qualifications that we sent out. 2 of the firms were deemed disqualified because they failed to meet those minimum requirements. And the district decided to move forward with the 6th as part of that pool of architects. In May of 2023, the board approved or established a pool of 6 firms to the pool. Since then, every time we have a project like this, or we identify a project, before we can just say, we have a project, let's go hire an architect, we have to invite everyone within that pool to participate. So we no longer do a request for qualifications. Qualifications have been established as part of the pool. We now do a request for proposals. Basically, just give us your current rates and compete against each other, which is great because it allows them to keep sharpening their pencils and gives us the best price for the district. For this particular project, we issued the architectural engineering request for proposals on July 13th. The proposals were due on July 29th. We had only 2 firms that responded to this. This is a small project, so even though we put it out and invite all firms to participate, they don't have to. They're not required to. It's just depending how attractive the project is to the firm and depending on their workload. In this particular project, we only had 2 firms. It was PBK and Johnson Favreau Architects. Great proposal. The problem with Johnson Favreau is that it was 3 times the cost of PBK. Because this is a fee proposal, we went with PBK. We asked the firms to give us 2 separate costs, as you can see, feasibility study, because first we need to determine that it's a tight space, that the project is feasible, that we can expand. We believe we can, but we need an actual engineer to confirm that. And if so, that cost is $10,500. Once we determine that if the project is feasible, then we will proceed with the architecture and engineering of the project for $165,000 for a not to exceed total of $175,500. And that's what's being presented to you this evening. And here are just some pictures. Just again, this is a tight space. The lower picture, the bottom one is the entrance essentially to the TK building, the front. The parking lot is along the left-hand side. There's not a whole lot of room to come out, as you can see, and this is the back. The upper picture is actually the back. There's not a whole lot of room to expand there. But since we're only trying to capture one additional classroom, or half to make the third, we think we have a plan.
How much space is needed? I mean, what expansion?
1,350 square feet for a new classroom. If we're just modernizing an existing building, it's 1,250.
You may not know, but just.
We don't know yet because we have to include restrooms. It just really depends. Right now, there's only 2 set of restrooms for those 2.5 classrooms.
All those items will be explored through the feasibility study.
Exactly. Tonight, the board, we're recommending approval of PBK so that we can jump on the feasibility study. I've asked them to prepare a schedule as part of their proposal. I asked both firms. This is an extremely aggressive schedule. I'm worried because it gives us 3 weeks for the feasibility study, and that's doable. What I'm worried about is, even though it's a small project, it still has to go through it has to be engineered because it requires structural modifications. This is not giving us a lot of time for design and engineering, and that it's assuming only a 3-month review. Typically, it's running about 5 months currently with DSA, regardless of the size, unless it's an over-the-counter. Plus bidding. So this assumes a 6-month construction schedule. So this would bleed into the school year.
So you're confirming you can absolutely get it done through the summer?
I'm confirming that this is extremely aggressive, but it's not the summer, it's 6 months. They're saying
know, I see
6 months. I think I can compress the construction. I'm more concerned about the pre-construction
I do have.
design and DSA.
So I do have another question. I'm sorry I wasn't able to ask you before the meeting, but I know I had shared if we need to start construction, obviously there may be a point where we need to do some relocation of classrooms. And maybe we want to have that conversation about whether it's better to do it at the end of a school year or beginning of a school year.
Correct.
Ideally, you don't do it at
Correct.
the beginning of the school year. So I'd like to, kind of better
Explore
understand
those. No, and I took note of that conversation. Obviously, I can't start any of those conversations with PBK until the board takes action to approve them, but if the board approves tonight, I will meet with them tomorrow to make sure that we get a jump start and look at potential phasing options. I'm worried about the schedule, just bringing it up now.
Question on the schedule, just for.
Yes.
In this ideally perfect world, this gets us to January of 2028.
Mhm.
Which means the school year has already started.
Mhm.
How would we have handled the class? Is there any point in doing it during the school year or before the school year in terms of scheduling? Would we be able to have a class somewhere and then move them? How would we do that? That's my question.
Yeah, no, we don't know. I will have to figure that out. I mean, we haven't gotten that far down the planning phase yet, but we'd have to have some what do we call it, interim housing?
Interim housing, correct.
We're gonna have to figure that piece out. It's gonna be a less than ideal situation for a number of months. But, I think the long-term gain is to create this third room. We're finding the need in the Del Air community to create that third room. And we're packed at Holly Glen. So it's not like we have another room. At first we we just weren't sure how Holly Glen was gonna fill, but Holly Glen just filled up, and so we don't have extra space there. So this extra room is needed for that third class.
No question, just timing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right.
We're concerned about timing, obviously. It's a real concern.
Okay, moving on. To Weisburn Middle School exterior painting project. Another project that started in June. It was substantially completed on August 7th. We have since punched all of the buildings, and the punch list will be completed by tomorrow. I mean, they're pretty much done with the punch list as well. So ahead of schedule. And it looks great. Here are some of the before pictures. Same thing with the signage. We removed some of it was bad.
Just read it.
This is progress pictures as the buildings were being painted. You can see the buildings to the left are painted, the buildings to the right are being painted, and you can see the contrast. It just looks outdated, old. This already looks like a brand new campus, and it's just paint. Here's the main entrance. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, here's another look. The back of the buildings. The courtyard. I'm not doing that. Here you can see the new signage installed or already in place. It just looks a lot cleaner. And by painting it black, it's just a lot easier to read and identify the buildings.
And maintain over time.
Absolutely. And as a reminder, we used marine grade paint. There was an extensive process as well because a lot of it is block, a special primer, as well as a multiple coat of paint, and as well as the fact that we were using marine grade quality. Here you can see the lunch shelters and the gym in the background. Just the site received new, is this the site that got new lunch tables? So again, it just looks like a brand new campus. It's beautiful. In the process, we also painted the M&O shops because we couldn't have them just look terrible and stand out. And the IT portable as well. So it all just ties in nicely when you look from the sports complex all the way to the middle school. It does. It looks really nice. Okay. Some general updates. As you know, our team has been assisting Da Vinci with their Da Vinci Cafe project. That project, I'm happy to say, it's completed. Today, they did a trial run for staff from 7:30 to 10 a.m. this morning, and they're doing it again tomorrow. I missed it. I'm gonna have to try it. You can see the picture of the cafe in the bottom. It's just beautiful. It looks very nice. They're excited. The Del Air and Holly Glen Elementary School door access controls project, as I mentioned, we're pending hardware, receiving that. As part of that project, we had to run a separate, a parallel project for the ADA minor, but ADA upgrades that were needed, required by DSA for both sites. That will be substantially completed tomorrow as well. They're so minor that we'll be able to complete the punch list by next week. We had a great Citizens Bond Oversight Committee tour on August 3rd. We had Nelson join us. It was great. They love seeing before and after. So this is, and as you know, our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee is they're volunteers, parents, community members, and they're the ones that oversee the expenditures of our bond to make sure that everything is spent in accordance with Prop 39. Solar generation update. I'm pleased to report that I will be providing an update at the next upcoming board meeting. The numbers are looking good. In terms of the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, we were originally estimating receiving $3.3 million. We have since received, as of June, $3.7 million. It's already, and that's in place.
This month.
And that's in place to help pay off the lease payment. And that's all I have.
Question on the solar.
Yes.
Is it performing? to
It is.
expectations?
Yes.
Are
And
Chargers working? Is that?
chargers are working, it is generating, we will be providing an update with all of that, but yes, the numbers are looking good. Right. Yeah. I was supposed to do it tonight, but I've asked them to confirm some numbers through SCE. So we're just giving ourselves a couple more weeks to make sure that everything looks good. I've had my team request the invoices for the last 12 months just to make sure that our numbers match their numbers in terms of usage. And then I have the information on generation. So I want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. Mhm. Okay,
Great
thank
stuff.
you.
Board have any other comments or questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Want to say thank you as well, Noemi. Thank you to our bond program management team. And primarily, a thank you to our Wiseburn community for supporting our Measure EE bond. Obviously, these things do not happen by themselves. The community has graciously and invested in Wiseburn. It's much, I don't want to say easier, but it's much better to do, and as you can see from this update, some preventative maintenance and painting some areas than full-on replacements, kind of similar to our cars, right? It's much more feasible to repair a car and should be less expensive than to buy a whole new one. So want to make sure that obviously we use our bond dollars in a very responsible way. And thank you, Noemi and Cherie, for your leadership with the bond program. Extremely appreciative of all of your efforts. Thank you. Next, we are going on to section 7, which are board member reports. I'm going to start over on my left-hand side with Rebecca.
All right. Thanks, Roger. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our administrators, teachers, and staff as we kick off another exciting school year. I know we've got a couple more weeks before classes actually start, but feels like we're here. There really seems to be, with all the updates that Noemi's talking about, I know my kids are getting restless. I'm getting restless for them to get back into the thing, but just want to thank everyone who's been working tirelessly behind the scenes this summer to get our schools ready for students and families soon. On a personal note, I had the opportunity to attend the Chargers training camp on opening day recently. Thank you to the Chargers for their continuing investment in our community now that their home is within our district. I'm thrilled about the partnership with the Chargers as we're voting tonight to approve the girls flag football as an official CIF sanctioned sport at Wiseburn Da Vinci. I know Vicente and I were both at the Chargers opening day and had an opportunity to meet some of the players, and it was lovely. Expanding those opportunities for high school female athletes is a huge step forward, and I'm looking at our existing co-ed flag football team at the middle school, and my hope is that with the ongoing support of the Chargers, that we can foster even greater collaboration between our middle school and high school athletes. To build sort of that seamless pipeline and bring dedicated girls flag football opportunities to our middle schoolers. I know the Chargers folks at the camp expressed a true interest in making that happen and funding it. So would love to see that happen. I also wanted to highlight the great progress that's happening in our special education department, making deliberate strides towards strengthening our internal team, reducing reliance on outside agencies, and improving district capacity are all things that I know that have been things that we've been working on for a number of years. It's really exciting to see those coming to fruition, and I'm particularly looking forward to our ongoing partnership and the district review with the California Collaborative for Educational Excellence. I had to write it down or else I was going to forget. And SELPA. So ensuring that we have that strong compliance, clear IEP documentation, and proactive parent outreach is really vital. And I'm looking forward to actively participating in and supporting the process as it moves forward. Just a couple more things. I'm really glad to see the proposed partnership with SEDEC America to bring the Dolphin Community Program to Wiseburn Middle School. Investing in student belonging, leadership, and positive school culture directly addresses our climate data and supports our youth where they need it most. And we continue to hear from students and families about the need for further support in this area. And I'm excited to see how this program rolls out and its impact in the coming year. I had the opportunity to meet with some of those folks and the principal, and I think Blake, were you there as well? Yeah, a few months ago. So excited to see how that program has now developed. And finally, I want to acknowledge all the work that was done to review and update our annual diversity, equity, and inclusion resolutions for 2026, affirming our ongoing commitment to safe, inclusive, and equitable learning environments for all of our students. So thank you, especially to Dr. Ingram, for all of our work in getting those resolutions to us before the school year and allowing us to continue to review, expand, and revise them as needed each year. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next, I'll go over down my right-hand side. Nelson.
Roger. Just a few comments for me tonight. I also want to take an opportunity to welcome the Da Vinci High School administrators, staff, teachers, and students. They are back in full force. So welcome to another school year. Also want to take an opportunity to welcome back the Wiseburn administrators, principals, and office staff as they are back as well and preparing for the teachers and students here in a few weeks. So a lot of, I just want to say thank you to all the work that's taking place behind the scenes so that our schools are ready for the teachers and the students here in by September 1st. So thank you to everybody that's making that happen. I also want to mention a few items as well. I had the opportunity, as Noemi mentioned, to attend the Citizen Bonds Oversight Committee on August 3rd, led by our CBO, Marilu de Arcos, and the NAZ team. And I got to witness firsthand the amazing work that's taking place this summer, which you all witnessed in this presentation. So again, I want to thank district staff, the contractors, consultants. It takes a village to make this happen, as you saw, and I want to thank everybody for that. I also want to thank Eddie Urenda and Captain Gore, who joined us. They're citizen oversight members, and I think as was mentioned, they're volunteers, and I want to thank them for the work that they do to make sure they hold us accountable and making sure that our public funds are used and we're good stewards of it. So I want to thank you them for their service, for joining us on that tour. On August 4th, I had an opportunity to attend the Wiseburn Night Out, a wonderful community event that brings the Wiseburn community, families, and kids all together. Again, it's just a good reminder of what makes Wiseburn special. It's really a close-knit community. So I want to thank for that, and then thank everybody for that event. And then I also wanted to take an opportunity just to mention two items on the board that I'm looking forward to hearing. Maggie, I'm looking forward to the achievement report that you'll be presenting shortly on, and just the efforts that we're making on students' achievement. So looking forward to that. And then I'm excited to see that Vicente in the room. I'm excited about an agenda item that's before us today, girls flag football. I'm glad that we're looking to expand opportunities. I love team sports. So glad it's on the agenda, and I'm not going to say anything until we vote on it. Glad it's on the agenda. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson. Next, we'll go to Michelle.
Thank you so much. My colleagues have been very, very busy over the summer. No, I just wanted to highlight just the important work that continues to happen over this summer. I know it from a family's point of view, it seems to slow down, or you kind of separate a little bit from the school district, but it doesn't stop. And just by Noemi's presentation, a lot is happening. And I just wanted to highlight all the hard work that continues to happen behind the scenes, and to thank the people that tirelessly work to make that happen so that there is the least amount of disruption for our students. And so they shouldn't know about it, right? And also the teachers as well, that you still have a couple of weeks out, and every stage is different of a teacher. And so I'm pretty sure there are teachers already on campus trying to get things set up. And just thank you for prioritizing the environment that our students get to be in, and because that matters. If you're in a space that is clean and bright and beautiful, teachers are inspired to teach, students are inspired to learn, and thank you for prioritizing our students in that way. I am not going to say we're winding up yet. I'm going to save that for next time, but I hope that the teachers get, not winding down. I hope the teachers get the last few bits of restfulness before the start. And there is just an excitement that happens with the start of a school year. And so I just wish everybody the best of luck, and welcome back.
Thank you, Michelle. Next, we'll go to Neil.
I'll keep it very brief. Just echo all the nice comments you made. I support everything you've said. Welcome back, everybody. I know you're not there yet. Many of you are. Thank you for the hard work, the how-to work, the prep work. Thank you. And I'm excited about a new year. It's going to be fun for us. On a fiscal note, I know that we're always looking at dollars and cents. We're trying to be fiscally responsible. I know there's been some California Privacy Rights Act, CPRA requests that do in fact require attorney's fees. And I'd love to get Dr. Silvers an update for us on what that is costing us to be prepared and aware, please. And then finally, on a last note, I came across something I wanted to share to the parents, if I can call this up. And that what school is such a wonderful time for us to connect with our kids. And I remember when my kids were very young and I would ask them, how's your day today? and I'd get a silent response. And I came across something that I thought was really inspiring of how you can raise up that conversation with questions like, what was the best part of your day? What mistakes did you learn from today? Who were you proud of today? What's one thing you'd have made better today? And who did you help today? And what a difference that might make in the conversation and the connection. Food for thought for parents. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Neil. A few comments from me as well. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all of our administrators and staff, and of course, our upcoming teachers for the start of the school year. The school year doesn't actually start September 1. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. So I want to just recognize everyone's efforts in preparation for a fantastic school year as all of our students are getting ready to come back, so that we're all prepared and ready to receive them and make a great experience for our students and their parents that come to our schools. And I think that's part of what makes Wiseburn great. So thank you for all of your individual and collective efforts as we move forward into the new school year. I do want to thank as well Eddie Urenda and the Wiseburn Watch for their coordination of the National Night Out. It was a great event that brought our community together, local law enforcement, fire department, water districts, and of course, Wiseburn had its own booth there as well. So thank you to all of our administrators and superintendent. Both Nelson and I were able to attend that. It was a great opportunity to actually be present and coordinate with our community and extend an opportunity for them to speak to us as well, as both as board members and as community members, to help answer any questions that they may have. I was able to address several questions just in regards to our facilities, our programs, and a little bit of the history of Wiseburn. You know, we have quite a few parents and families that have chosen to come back to our district based on a lot of the great accomplishments and things that they're seeing around our neighborhood. So welcome back to those that have returned, and for those that have stayed, thank you. Thank you for your continued support. I've been a member here as a resident, I should say, for 25 years, and I love the Wiseburn community. It's just fantastic to be a part of it. Along that note, the Wiseburn Library just celebrated its 60th anniversary here within the Wiseburn Unified School District. It's the Wiseburn, Los Angeles County Wiseburn Library. And I've had an opportunity, my wife and I, to actually take our kids to that library for story time and sitting in the carpet before they're even of age to go to school. So a huge debt of gratitude as well over the last 25 years to the LA County Wiseburn Library, and congratulations for 60 years. Lastly, I would like to just share, looking forward to our meeting with Dr. Silvers and with Ms. Mayberry in terms of talking about our math. And I know, Michelle, we're looking to schedule that conversation and our trajectory for next month. So we will work with your schedule, because I know you're going back to school as well as a teacher.
Already.
So, or already there. So we will be asking you for some availability dates. So really looking forward to that as well. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to, that concludes the board member comments for tonight. And next, we're going to go to section 7.2, which is district leadership reports. And the one that I have first is achievement report on achievement report pilot updates. Ms. Mayberry.
Well, I'm apologizing in advance because usually our wonderful teachers get up to do this, but I didn't dare ask anyone to volunteer to come to a board meeting on the last few days of summer. And I miss you all on our design team, and I can't wait till you're up here and talking on our behalf. So we have some very exciting things happening in our district, and we are going to be launching our pilot of our new achievement report. So AR was something that was used in the past. It is now the new acronym for achievement report, because we're shifting. We're not reporting on how our students are doing. We're talking about what they're achieving in their growth and development within the state standards. So this is a very exciting time. So today we're going to talk about some decisions that were made in June and just the next steps with this pilot. We're there. We are at this school year. We took a little bit of a step backwards as a team and decided to slow this down entirely and took teachers on volunteer to participate in this pilot. So not just our design team members who were tasked with this as being a member, but we are going to be talking about the others that will be participating in as well. I'm clicking and the pause is so long. When I was a teacher, I had horrible wait time, you know, when you're like, let's just answer them, like, we're gonna go. So, in June, our how-to meeting, we really came to decisions not just with the design team of the achievement report, but we also included our guiding coalitions, which are instructional leaders on our school sites. So it was great to have these two teams merged together in the decisions that we're making for all of our students in our community. One thing that we did was we presented back to you a few months ago that every grade level will be reporting on domain in the different subject areas. At the elementary level, we've shifted that actually not pretty unanimously. It was 100% unanimous by every teacher that was in that classroom, probably within a 30-second decision. As we started to build out our assessments and our rubrics, we decided that these were giving really details into the standard, not just the domain. Domains are general, like on informational text. We're talking about in informational text, how you're reading, like what are you actually reading and what are your skills and abilities in that? And so we decided to provide even more information to our communities. And some of that was the feedback that you provided us with, like, is there going to be blanks, you know, when we didn't know where we were at? Every line is going to have information for our parents and our students to see of where they're at in their learning. And then we've moved away from this simple work habits and citizenships to success indicators. And we decided to use check boxes and deltas. And we liked the delta because it really does symbolize growth, not as a negative, but just room for growth and development in particular areas for a student. So we're going to show you what the wording for these various parts look like. So we are moving for our standards and then domains at the middle school level, proficiency. So instead of seeing the traditional grading, you know, A through F system, you're going to see prof if a student has completely mastered. And we determined that to be a learner. It consistently and accurately demonstrates the application of the grade level standard independently. Developing. When the learner demonstrates understanding of the grade level standard with guidance and support. And beginning, the learner is starting to understand the grade level standard with extensive prompting and support to experience success. This took our committee quite a bit of time, but really we did come to the decision early last year on this wording. It was really finding the coding on how to actually apply it. You would never think this would be so hard, but my gosh, you know, putting a space here and there on a report card is very, very difficult. So this is an example of what a report card would look like at Holly Glen Del Air and Aviation. This is actually a TK example. So you can see we would start in every grade level. We're going to start with our language arts and then go into our foundational literacy skills. Those will end at third grade because those do end. We have all of our foundational literacy skills. We're moving on in more in depth around our comprehension. And so instead of just giving that foundational literacy skill and a check mark and maybe a blank, we decided to actually go ahead and score it. And we've designed rubrics for each and every one. And we're in the process of designing assessments for each and every one of our standards to be able to identify where our children are at in their learning. So a parent is going to get this back. Yes.
Thank you. As we move forward
Yes.
with this and looking ahead with the student and parent interaction, will that rubric be shared upfront with students and parents so that they understand what these terminologies and these definitions are?
Absolutely. And I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit more in depth coming
Okay,
up.
great.
Yeah, perfect. But this is what it might look like at the end of the second semester. So this is just for language arts and a little piece of snapshot of mathematics. So let's look at, you know, under foundational literacy skills, identifies at least 12 lowercase letters. In semester one, a student's beginning, they've developed, they've continued, we've assessed, and at the end of the year, they're at the development level. So you can see the growth that the child had, and that information is going to be going home to parents, you know, in our communications, in the rubrics that we're using, in the various assignments and assessments that we give. So you're going to see this big shift, but a lot more information. At TK and Kinder, we were using standards-based report card, but a lot more information than just a reading score of a C. Like, what does that mean? We're telling you exactly where you are growing in your development of reading skills.
I know
Yes.
it's just, I'm nitpicking only
Yep.
because I just want to make sure that I understand that's not whether it's a typo or whether
Yes.
it's intentional. The first line where it says foundational literacy skills, those two boxes are blank, but it looks like the semester 2 for all the other ones has a bolded
Yeah.
thing. Did we just miss it?
It's a
Or-
type,
okay.
it's a typo, and I should have
Okay.
pointed that out. I'm sorry, because we were building them. Yeah, but now, and we actually perfected them this afternoon. Yeah, so that one was before when we were domain-based and moved off. I apologize. So those won't be there in the future, but you can see, like, for mathematics, counts allowed to 30, you know, in the second semester, a student would be developing or beginning, and we're gonna see growth where we might see a beginning in the beginning of the year, but then growth throughout that school year.
Just to clarify one other thing, is the thing that you're seeing in the second semester that's bolded, is that what their first semester total was, or was that supposed to be like an overall, like based on these 5 things under writing, they have a beginning score in writing?
So and I apologize, like, I'm gonna walk up to this. I did not catch this. I completely apologize. This shouldn't be here. This will be blank. And they're actually grade
Okay.
right here. This will be here. And
Okay.
it'll identify with each of the standards, and that'll be in TK through 5.
So they'll only
Yeah.
have it for the underlined one,
Yeah.
not the overall.
Right,
Got it.
not the
Okay.
domain. That would be the domain. Yes, I apologize. That was my my error. And then here's an example of second grade. So you can see this one we have, this is the better one. You see how it's grayed out, and it'll be the same thing in those grade levels. Whew, okay, got this one. A little sweaty, it's summer. And so this is what will look like. We have been playing with a space at the beginning of the B in the beginning, so that maybe there'll be a little bit of gap so the letters aren't all running together, but that's a coding thing that we've been playing with. Now, what we might see in our younger grades is some actual grays in our standards, because we haven't gotten there yet. Like, for example, our geometry standards are usually standards that are covered towards the end of the year. So we haven't done an assessment to see, like, what, shapes and things that our students know yet. So that might be grayed out. And that's something our teachers have developed in their curriculum mapping. And so that will be something that's explained to parents as well, like what that gray means. But by the end of semester 2, every box will have that. The middle school will be grading on domains. So each of the subject areas have 3 to 4 domains in it based on the California state standards, and that is what they will be assessing on. So the rubrics that they have designed will be based all on these and will stay the same from 6th to 8th grade. Our elective classes are still building those out because we're looking at our VAPA standards. PE has completed theirs. So we are still in the process of building out at the middle school those elective courses wording. And then our success indicator shifts. We're really moving from to asset-based language around our students. Like, what skills do they have? We hear about competencies that kids need to be successful. Let's start talking about where our students are at in these skills and providing families feedback on those. And so that'll be reported through a checkbox when they've achieved it, consistently demonstrated it, and a delta for needs additional attention. So you can see over here, like where it says our work habits, we're going to be using those terminologies around academic perseverance, engagement, self-management for a social behavior, and then cooperation. And so these are for our younger students. As you can see, this is what the back of the report card or the second page would look like. So the attendance would be on there. And then here's what comments would potentially look like. And then in TK and Kinder, they have a different set of success indicators. They're just a little bit different. I mean, we are basing them on their development, but we've stayed consistent in 1st through 5th grade. So it'll be the same work habits and social behaviors on academic perseverance. And you can see here from our example what the check marks and the deltas would look like. And so the homeroom teacher would be putting those in.
Question if I may, this is,
Yeah.
I love this. It's impressive. The parents are going to get so much more information.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. I'm concerned about the demand on the teachers. Is there any, and this might be dreamland down the road, But is there any data that they could be entering, or do we have a system where this will self-populate?
We absolutely do. And so that's through our student information system of PowerSchool. There's an entity called Power Teacher Pro that is a gradebook. And so you would be putting these into a gradebook, and then the gradebook would then be reporting out. So when it does come time to actually make the report card, you're hitting like a run button.
That's fantastic.
And then it'll populate the scores that can always be overridden by a teacher because maybe something wasn't entered, or, you know, a lot of it is like, that's not correct. The student is proficient. I want to change that. They do have the ability to do this. We will be manually entering in the success indicators, but it's like a pull down menu for them, typically like what they've done. And then we manually enter in comments, but some of those can be generated through a pull down menu as well. Yeah.
Just a quick question, I should have asked, going back to the domain.
Yeah.
Just for my clarity,
Mhm.
is that developed with teacher input, or is it the state standard, or is it a combination of both?
Well, the domain, yeah, great question. The domains are actually based on the state standards for those subject areas, but the grading by the domains was determined by the middle school teachers. That was the input they received, and then they received from their teams, from their teammates, that was the system they would like to move using forward.
Okay.
And then at the middle school, here are the skills for success for them, our success indicators. So their personal skills and then academic skills. And they will also be using the check mark and the delta. So it's really great to see that language consistent. We were throwing around different ideas maybe at the middle school, but it was determined in our June meeting to just this is what we're doing in TK, and it's the same process for our 8th graders as well. So parents will be seeing this language when they do enroll until they leave our system. So what's happening? This is the fun part. So we are continuing focusing on the rollout. So our design team, our achievement report design team, is going to continue to meet this year because we know adjustments are going to need to be made throughout the process. Beginning this school year, a lot of our professional development is going to be focused around assessment because we've chosen our standards, we've chosen our reporting mechanism, but now we were going to be in the development process of the assessments to support the rubrics that we've built. And so we, on the 26th, the middle school will be participating in a Canvas training. That is the learning management system they use, on how that will be integrating with the new standards. On the 28th, the entire district will be all of our teachers will participate in a half-day development on, we're calling it the Assessment Academy. It's actually not an Assessment Academy. That's going to be one entity. Our teachers are going to have win time, which is like what I need. And so they're going to be working on curriculum mapping within our new achievement report. They get to choose their own adventure that day. Do they want to work on their assessments? Do they want to continue to work on the rubric? So each team in school might be going in a different direction that day. And then collaboration time in the district's been built in October for teams per school site to meet to discuss what they've started to build. And then September 2nd is when we're doing our Power Teacher Pro training. So how to use actually the new grade book with grade level standards. Letters are going to go out to parents in the first day, like our first day of packets, whoever decides to do this pilot. So parents will be notified of this. And then on September 8th from 5 to 6:30, myself, our partners at Learner Centered Collaborative, as well as our design team, will be meeting in a community webinar. So we're inviting any parent, any community member, please tune in to attend this webinar to just let them know how we've gone about this process and inform them. And we really wanted to do it on this night to get to our parents before back to school night. And then anyone at back to school night is going to be presenting to their classroom, how they're going to be using it within their classroom. We had 58 teachers sign up. We had 14 people that are kind of required more or less of our design team. Some of these people are in the room, thank you. Which means we had an additional 44 teachers, school or district wide, to sign up to pilot this. I don't know about you, but like, Robin, are you like proud of our staff? Kelly's one of them that's signing up to do this. Like, this is, and it's not just Kelly, like, yeah, like her whole team signed up. The entire Aviation Elementary is going to be moving to this system. Like the entire school's moving it. Like it's hardly any people doing it by themselves. It's like entire grade levels. Del Air, first and second grade, the entire grade level, fifth grade at Del Air. Like we have teams doing this because they know it's better in collaboration because we know that's good. Our design team, like this is the proudest work. This is great what they're doing because what we're going to be giving to our students and our parents is just so much information than what we've provided in the past. And it's really exciting to be a part of that and then feedback and then build the best tool that we can, and adjust it if needed for the following school year. So stay tuned because we are going to be having parent surveys go out after the first report card goes out, especially after conference time. And then again, like a reflection at the end of the year, hopefully tying it with the LCAP as well. So wow, it still kind of brings a tear to my eye. And I have to tell you, when this went out, you guys, I was like obsessed with checking the Google because I was like, oh my God, the ones sign up. Yes, it's like the greatest thing. And so I really do hope that the window is still open, that at any point, if a teacher wants to shift, at the semester, they can. And my hope and dream is that, they've seen the support that the design team and myself are providing, that we could have people change on Friday after the assessment academy, like we can do this and we're going to pilot it. So that number could grow at our next meeting. So bravo to our teachers, because this is different. It's very different. It's hard. It's hard to break out of systems that you've always done that are traditional to, really move forward with doing what's best for our students. So bravo to our amazing teacher community for this process.
One question.
Yes.
Or something that comes to mind as I read the rubrics and things like that. It's not going to surprise Kim that I'm going to ask this, but is how we're going to apply these standards for some of our students with IEPs, especially those who have behavioral issues in their things. I see the wording of some of the standards and it makes me concerned for some students who might have need additional support and then we mark them as developing when actually they're proficient in the standards. So I'm just flagging it as something that I want us to keep an eye on, I guess, is how these new assessments are going to get applied to students who have IEPs and how that assessment is going to work in conjunction with whatever goals that are being worked on in the IEPs so that the grading remains consistent.
Right. And one thing I can say that the design team really embraced was that the point of being consistent and being consistently showing proficiency isn't just a one and done. You don't take a test on cells and say, I know everything about cells and walk away. It's over time. And so one assessment might be one snapshot, but we're going to see it again and again and again. And so you have opportunity to show your growth and development. So there's going to be many entry points for all students to be able to show their mastery. So maybe that type of assessment doesn't work for a student, then they're going to have another way to showcase their growth. So I think that'll be really beneficial to all learners as well. Yeah.
Any further questions from the board?
Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
This is so exciting.
It's a significant change.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
But I'm glad to hear that we're giving the teachers the support they need and that
Yeah.
we're going to continue.
Yes.
And obviously excited that we have some forums of information for parents because this is.
Yeah, right. It's going to be very new.
No, so thank you.
Yes, of course.
It's exciting. And
Yeah, thank
this will be
you.
meaningful data
It is.
that will help kids in
Right.
terms of student progress.
Right. And I'm just the listener. And I mean, it's the teachers back here that are doing the work and making these decisions. And that's the best part of this, I will say. It really did have a lot of voice in it.
Thank you
Yeah.
to everyone.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
All right.
Maggie. Thank you. Okay, next is that we are on item 7.3 of our agenda. We are moving to our superintendent's report. Dr. Blake Silvers.
Can I circle back just, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
sure.
Dr. Ingram had one update. So
Oh,
if we could just
yes.
maybe, go back there
Yes,
for-
so a few different student support items on the agenda tonight. One of them, Mrs. Cappy already mentioned, is the Dolphin.
I'm stealing your thunder, sorry.
Oh, no. I can speak to something different, but agenda item 911, the board is being asked to approve a partnership with Zedek America to strengthen student belonging, build student leadership, and foster a more inclusive school culture at the middle school. The board has asked in the past about efforts to improve culture and climate, and so I've briefly spoken about this project as it was in the works, but just wanted to take some time to give a little bit more detail. The primary focus is on anti-bullying. During the last board meeting, I shared some statistics, and specifically in the middle school,
there was an average of 89% of students who said within the past 12 months they had not been bullied. And that was, a difference from the previous year, which was 85%. So we're moving in the right direction. But of course, we want every student to say that they haven't experienced bullying at school. And that measure was defined by a few different questions on the California Healthy Kids Survey. One, have you ever within the last 12 months been bullied or harassed related to gender? And the response to that was 94%. Religion, which was 95%, and then race and ethnicity was our lowest of those, which was 77%. So a little over 200 of our middle school students who said that within the last 12 months, they had experienced something like that. And so for the last almost year, we've been actually planning this Dolphin Community Project, where in the fall of October, Dr. Silvers and I met with representatives from Zedek America. The principal at the middle school, Lisa, has met with community members. We've had several conversations with community members. And then that just progressed where I was able to see an assembly put on by Zedek America at another school and get feedback. So just a lot of thought has gone into this project. And beyond meeting with Zedek America, we've looked at our own data. So among those 77% of students, or rather that about 200 students, what is it that they're experiencing and why? So we have some data that tells us that from our numbers, but also anecdotally from talking with parents, talking with students. So we really wanted to get a strong understanding of what's happening at our school beyond just these numbers that we see in front of us. And so that's why you see such a comprehensive plan that's being proposed, where we hope to have an assembly once a month with our students to educate them, because we're learning that many students are saying things where they don't know the meaning and they don't know that it might be hurtful to other students. We want to make sure that they're educated, but with that, we want to make sure that within smaller groups, they're having conversations where they're reflecting and really being able to explore the concepts through discussions. And so that's where the leadership piece comes into play. So we'll meet with students student leaders to help prepare them for these conversations and teach them about these topics, so they're able to have conversations about the information they're learning in the assemblies, about what's happening at school in their classrooms, and to help make sure everyone's prepared for that. Teachers would also have training preparing them for these topics that the students learn about in these monthly assemblies. And we know that when we're trying to support students, especially change, something so big like culture and climate, that the most comprehensive approach is going to be the most beneficial. So in addition to working with students and teachers, there is, the proposal includes a parent component. So the PTA is supportive of this plan as well. And the idea would be that parents would be invited to PTA meetings where the same topics that the teachers have talked about and the students have talked about, the parents will have an opportunity to discuss as well. So, so again, a long time in the works for planning for this, but we wanted to make sure that we really had something that would be comprehensive and meaningful, because we've been seeing progress with the steps that we've been taking, right? Where we're addressing things kind of reactively, but we really wanted to make sure that we're able to proactively address all students, and then especially the ones who are experiencing incidents that we wouldn't want, and the ones who are maybe the offenders of those offenses or those incidents as well. So that is a little bit about Dolphin Community. Related to that, again, as Ms. Cappy mentioned, you have the list of DEI resolutions that you're being asked to approve this evening. Just to add to what Ms. Cappy said, I think this process has grown over the years. I think we've become a little bit more efficient, but also just more expansive in how we celebrate these events at our schools. And so it's not just kind of a paper or a resolution and then we're calling it a day and forgetting about it. These resolutions are kind of the foundation of then what the schools carry on in practice. And so with the resolutions, this year, just like last year, the expectation and the plan is for teachers to be trained and make sure they're educated on the different topics and cultural practices so that the students can have a lesson on those topics as part of their monthly experience. And then the counselors also engage with the students, the teachers, and the administrators to make sure that there are activities at school related to these topics. So there are activities often during recess or lunch or an activity that they can do outside of school that's then posted or presented somewhere on campus. The middle school students are often more active and are able to suggest things that they'd like to do or ways that they celebrate. So beyond just the list and beyond just the resolution are practices at our other school sites. One more piece, actually two. You asked last week with the e-bike resolution to make sure that any reference to e-scooters was taken out. So that's been done. So only the e-bike resolution, or I'm sorry, not resolution, board policy and administrative regulation only talks about e-bikes. And then there are 3 board policies that are up for their second reading. One of them is directory information, the exhibit 5125.1. This has been of interest of our community. There are a lot of questions that have come our way about and concerns, interest and concerns about a family directory. So I just wanted to make it clear that this directory information exhibit is not proposing or asking that the district publishes a family directory that would be available to community members with students' information. It's actually a federal requirement that we have to notify families every year of the information that the school holds, like students' names, their birthdays, their addresses, and that if a parent wants to opt out of how the district publicly uses that information, they have a right to do so, and we have to inform them how to do that. So it's confusing because we had just talked about family directories, and now the federal language used for our required annual notification is directory information. But it in no way says or proposes that the district would be publishing a family directory. So happy to answer any questions about the board policies, exhibits, and administrative regulations.
Thank you. This is important clarification.
Thank you. Do we have any other district leadership reports?
No, I think it's me now.
Okay, all right, then I will turn it to you.
Yeah, okay, I just, only one comment today. I do want to say, Dr. Goldman, I think from your request, we'll bring back, I think we may do more, even a more comprehensive look at our attorney fees over time. And we do use the 3 firms, DWK, Atkinson, Andelson, and Towersini. DWK, Atkinson, Andelson are more general. They do some of our general work, and then Towersini does facilities in particular. Typically facilities issues or prepping for projects that we're doing, making sure that our documents and such meet legal standards. Would be, a lot of that is bond expense. You know, it comes out of bond expense. The other 2 tend to come out of our general fund. So we'll kind of do a side by side there to show you what's coming out of general fund.
These can be material, so thank you.
It's very.
Yeah.
So we'll bring that back to you. And that's all I have today.
Okay, thank you. We are on section 8, which are public comments for items that are on the agenda tonight. Wendy, do we have any speakers on item 8.1 for comments on agenda items?
No public.
Okay, thank you. Moving to section 9, which is consent items. Is there a motion to approve item 9.1, which would in effect approve items 9.1 through 9.20?
Second.
Any comments or questions for discussion?
Just thank you for clarifying prior to the meeting, I had some outreach, but 912, I forgot to ask regarding lunch assist. I think this is something we do every year, but I don't exactly know what it is.
The lunch assist helps us with our reporting requirements for all food services and just making sure that we're compliant with everything in our nutritional services.
does it ensure that we get our funds come to us?
They help us with our claims that we
Okay.
submit to the state and federal.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a motion and a second for item 9.1. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Moving to section 10, action items, we're 10.1 is to approve girls flag football as an official California Interscholastic Federation, or CIF, sanctioned sport for Weisburn Da Vinci schools. Is there a motion?
Second.
Wow, there was 5 firsts and 5 seconds. That's great. So 5-5. Any comments or questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations. What an exciting time within the Weisburn Da Vinci community to see this sport come forward. So thank you to everyone involved. Thank you.
Keep us posted on the tournament that they're going to be in, right? With the Chargers.
So a number of things coming up, so.
All right. Moving to item 10.2, receive board policies for second reading and possible adoption. These are board policies for educational technology and student screen time, as well as the release of directory of information. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Second? Michelle. Any comments or questions?
Just a thank you to Dr. Ingram for extensive answers. Thank you very much.
Clarification.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions either, so I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Section 11 are action items related to facilities. We have, I'll take, there was only 2, so I'll just take one each individually. 11.1 is a notice of completion and release of retention for the solar power and battery energy solar storage system project, district-wide with Site Logic that was also paid out of Measure EE funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I do have a question. Given that we are going to be having the presentation at our future board meeting, I don't know that I'm fully understanding what ramifications might be uncovered in that meeting that might impact my vote in this item today. Thank you.
None. This is contracted work that has been completed. The system has been essentially completed for 1.5 years now. We're in the maintenance period. So this will allow us to release the retention. And once we file the notice of completion, we still have to take the notice of completion and take it to the county recorder's office to get that recorded. We have to wait 35 days before we can release payment to them. So we're still a good 40 to 45 days out before we can release final payment. But everything is producing, everything's working. We have had no problems. They're very responsive. So I would feel comfortable recommending that we file the notice of completion. We've held that retention long enough.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Item 11.2 is award of agreement for Delair Elementary School, at Delair Elementary School for the transitional kindergarten classroom conversion project for architectural design services with PBK to be paid out of Measure EE bond funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Go ahead.
Ready for you.
Rebecca? Okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Moving to section 12 is action items under fiscal. Our first item is to ratify a sponsorship license memorandum of understanding between Weisburn Unified and Fabletics LLC. Is there a motion?
Yeah, motion.
Second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I'd like to make one.
Thank you. Sure.
Yeah. So this was an opportunity that was brought to us from Fabletics Their main headquarters is just across the street from the sports complex. And, it just made sense, their mission and vision and what they do. Seemed to be a good opportunity for them, but also for us, to be able to put some money into our deferred maintenance account. So, they reached out and Nick McLaughlin from the Wiseburn Education Foundation has been really, really instrumental in this process, with us. So I just do want to extend the thank you, to him. And I know Marty Lou has been working hard with Fabletics as well. This has been, longer negotiation-ish than we thought, and so I think that we're at a point where we feel pretty good about the partnership. We think there's going to be some benefits far beyond what we see in the dollar amounts that we're putting into the actual coffers, if you will. It's going to be more of a collaborative partnership, we feel, with the company moving forward. So that's kind of long and the short of it, but it's an exciting opportunity for the district here.
Thank you, Blake. With that, I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. On to section 13, which are also action items regarding personnel. Item 13.1 is to approve the job description and salary schedule for instructional aides for general education and special education. Is there a motion?
I'd like to motion 13.1 and 2, if we may, and then allow. You should give some thoughts on both.
Okay, so a motion on 13.1 and 13.2 from Neil. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All right, first just want to share for 13.1, the instructional aid, general education, instructional aid, special education. Wiseburn is a small district and we've had the instructional aid position as one general position that covered everything from a TK aid to a PE instructional aid to a one-on-one special education aid. And we all know that those require different job duties, different types of training and such is required as well. And so through negotiations with CSCA, we did come up with 2 different job descriptions, one for general education, and that would really cover TK aides, PE aides to that extent, and then special education. Those would be classroom aides with assigned to special education teachers and one-on-one aides. If you look at the job descriptions, they're pretty similar, but the main difference is for special education is it involves implementing the IEP and any specific supports the student may need, as well as additional training as needed through the psych services team. And so knowing that, there's also a different salary schedule that's going to be implemented for general education and special education. Once again, this is a collaborative approach with CSCA to get this approved and get this started. And so I would recommend the board approve this job description as well as the salary schedule. The next one, 13.2, which is approving a revised non-representative management salary schedule. This was a little bit longer of a process. This originally began after I met with the school psychologist who called the meeting to discuss their job duties, their work year, and they actually came with a compensation comparison of local and Seminole school districts. I really appreciated their approach. They came with data, they came with facts, and they came with letting, kind of going through the process of what their job duties entail as well. From that data and from just even my own internal data, our school psychologists consistently with similar and local school districts were among the lowest daily and annual rates while working the highest number of days in a school year. So looking beyond salary alone, I really had to look at the compensation comparison beyond what the beginning salary was and what the ending salary was. And so looking at things like the workday, the responsibilities, student enrollment and demographics and caseload is a really big thing to look at. Our organizational structure, and then the scope of what their position entails. Some of our psychologists are working at multiple school sites or with multiple grade levels, everything from preschool up until middle school. Once I identified that concern, I didn't let it go. So it became clear that the entire salary schedule had to be recalibrated. It wasn't just a one range type of thing. So I actually used this as an opportunity to review the entire non-represented salary schedule to make sure not only was it competitive, but that it was internally consistent and then appropriately calibrated by classification. Something we have to remember, Wiseburn is small and larger districts have maybe additional layers of management as well as like specialized positions. And so responsibilities in a larger district are often divided among several administrators or managers in a large district. Whereas in Wiseburn, a lot of those are consolidated under one position. And so it's a little unfair to just match job titles. I really had to look at an accurate comparison and the actual scope of work that each of these positions was doing. Knowing that, we did this similarly with the CSCA salary schedule, is that I looked at recalibrating it so that over the years, as new positions were created, say executive director, say a math specialist or district nurse, they were just kind of added and there was a job, annual salary added. So took a look at it comprehensively. And once again, looking at large districts, small districts, scope of work, and made sure that everything was kind of historically classified and that each kind of range went up. So impact, just so everyone knows, there's 5 steps on the salary schedule. There are 3% increase per step from like step 1, step 2, step 5. And our management salary schedule only has 5 steps. Unlike, say, our teacher salary schedule, there's 20 years of service or 25 years of service. For our management, it is 5 steps, 5 years. And then there's also a 2% increase between ranges, so between an AP or program specialist, principal, executive director. So what's the impact on employees? Some classifications are receiving a salary adjustment. Nobody is reducing their salary. The percentage increase, though, is not going to be the same across the board. This was not looking at a across-the-board percentage increase. This was actually looking to recalibrate and correct and stabilize the schedule. All that to say, I really hope that as we went through this and folks recognize the breadth of responsibilities that employees carry in a smaller district, that we provide appropriate relationship between the classifications, but more importantly, that we're in Wiseburn are able to recruit and retain the highest quality employees. And so this was a labor of lots of work, but I think it's a step in the right direction for Wiseburn. Questions?
Nisha, with this salary schedule adjustment, where would you say Wiseburn would be in the, I guess, the scale of comparable districts?
So now we're between 1 and 3. Like we're actually, I'm going to say between 2 and 3. We aren't number 1 in any of those job classifications. It's difficult when some districts have, say, concentration funds or their basic aid districts. Even similar demographics as us can be basic aid districts or. So we aren't number 1, but we are definitely 2s and 3s when we look at the different classifications.
So this would definitely help in terms of the retention or our current staff, but also in recruiting or attracting new staff to come work with the district.
Yeah. The goal is retaining, right? We want to keep our staff. We want to keep those that have been with Wiseburn. We also want to show folks that there is promotion within Wiseburn, right? So if you've been an assistant principal, there are other, jobs. If you're a program specialist, there are other things you can look at, a school psychologist, right? We want to retain the best. And so that's part 1. And obviously, if we do lose folks, then we know that we can also recruit that talent back.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members?
I have one other question on 13.1. Can you just remind me sort of what's the difference between like the RBTs and the instructional aid special education? Like, is it just that they have a special additional certificate or what's the?
So the RBTs do have additional certification, and so they are different on the salary schedule as well. So they do require additional certification and additional supervision, which our BCPAs provide.
And so just providing now a separate instructional aid, special ed classification, how will that impact will that impact the number of RBTs we need or the number of people that are available, I guess, to provide those IEP services?
3 years camp for RBTs? 4 years?
This is probably our 3rd year.
Third year.
And I mentioned how, this is how we've been able to actually bring in people that we have had to contract out for because we created a new
position for an RBT, and have provided the support for that supervision. So this is just now distinguishing a little bit more. So we're trying to, again, incentivize the rule and what we do here and look at it a little bit different than just a generic heading. So we are trying to teasing these out now a little bit.
Okay, so someone could come in as like a general aid and then get additional training, become a special
We have many
education aid,
people that
and
have
then
an
get more
RBT.
training and become an RBT. That would sort of be the continuum. Okay.
We honor that if they do earn their, we have two that have actually completed their certification this week that have been instructional aides for us and now are RBTs, and so we just will move them over to that. pay
That goes
scale.
along with our retaining our employees, is that when we opened the RBT job description, we actually had quite a few that first year that were serving as special education instructional aides that went ahead and took the additional coursework and passed the exam to then get their RBT certification.
Great. Thank you for that additional clarification.
No further questions or?
Dr. Dugal, appreciate your proactivity here. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0 for both items 13.1 and 13.2. With that said, we have a special close today. I'd like to go ahead and close today's Wiseburn Unified School District Board meeting in honor of Mrs. Roberta Gale Silvers, who recently passed away. She leaves an unbelievable legacy of a very rich and loving family. We were able to attend her celebration of life, and it is very evident that they have a truly loving family, and our sincere condolences to Dr. Silvers for the passing of your mother, and we'd like to close this meeting in honor of her tonight. But that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
We'll be adjourning to closed session.
And a
Not and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0.